How's it going, everybody? This is On the Mic podcast for February 28, 2015. Glad we made it. We're a little late, but Jam, how you doing out there?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, me too, man. I mean, this is the last day of February. I mean, last day of February and for the last day of Black History Month. So can't complain about the month the way it went. And I love all the things I learned about our history. Uh,
Man, I know
uh,
you got another fact for us, man. Go ahead, throw one out there.
yeah, I do, man. And it's kind of a good and bad, but it's about Anthony Mason. Played with the New York Knicks and Nets, a bunch of other basketball teams, but he died today at 48.
Oh man,
Yeah,
what is it with us black folk dying so early?
that's the same thing I was telling my wife, Misha, man. I told her the same. I don't really know. He had some heart complications and he was out of there. It was kind of scary. 48. You know,
Man,
you know.
yeah, I mean, it just seemed to be oh so common that I mean, and it come out of nowhere. It's like one minute we playing basketball, the next minute that's it.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't mean, I guess you just gotta stay. I mean, I was thinking maybe it's just, just we don't go to the doctor as much as we should, or I don't know, we taking care of ourselves, or what's going on. It's just it's just sad.
Uh-huh. So, but yeah, man, hopefully him and his family doing good. But man,
Yeah.
I want to make it till I'm like 100. I think about a good 100 is a good way to go. Get triple digits. Not a lot of people do that. Maybe they'll pay me to be on one of those commercials that old people be on, and go from there.
Yeah, that's true. I I personally don't want to live past or maybe past 90 unless I'm real healthy. But if my health is really starting to go, I don't think I want to get past 90. Mostly because it's just the way things change, man. I mean, I can imagine like those guys who maybe was born in 1915 and they're 100 years old today, and they're seeing all of the skinny jeans, the pink shirts, the metrosexual men out here, probably driving them crazy.
I think when you get that old, you begin to realize how stupid people are. Cause that's what I realized. It just seems like at work or anywhere you go, it's like that younger generation has no sense whatsoever. And you could imagine that we probably still have no sense compared to people like that. But at least you could kind of see how things evolve, because some things evolve for the worse, but you also have some things that evolve for the good.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you think like for instance skinny jeans? You think that's for the good or for the worse?
Oh, definitely for the worst, man. Definitely for the worst. Like if we getting on, just things changing. But if you look at it back in the day, there was a distinct line of what being a man was. Being a man was, with certain things, and there was men toys and or boy toys and girl toys, and men way to stand like and women way to stand, and man, this stuff now, there's no line between what a man is and what a woman is, especially with clothes.
Yeah, I personally, the way they blurring the color, like the pink and the lavenders, and I don't know. Maybe it's just where we were raised or how we were raised, and I don't know. It's just different to me.
Yeah, it's cool now, for men to wear pink shirts and pink ties and socks, and I mean, men actually wearing capris now, man. They got men wearing capris, and what's next? It's gonna be blouses next, man. This is my theory on why there's so many gay people, that's out right now, is that I think people are always gonna push the line, and no matter what the line is people are going to tote the line. So before, if you were going to be homosexual, you had to hide in the closet. But now the everything is okay, so more things is coming out and more things is coming out. And I think it started with the pink shirt. That's why I'm against the pink shirt, because I think that was a pivotal point on the line being blurred.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess so. I can't really. Well, I mean, I wonder, like, because back in the day, you think about the '60s and '70s when it was kind of the pimp era, and all the pimps had on some pink or some purple or some green and gold. Like it was just, I don't know, like, well, because that was kind of hard back then. You look. I mean, I guess maybe that's what you're saying is like if you, I don't know, maybe you're saying it started from then. Is that kind of started the whole fruity dude phase?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, back then when the pinks wore the pimps wore the pink suits and things like that. Well, one at least they were pimping hoes at least.
True.
So if you had a pink on, it was at least you had the status that you was a whoremonger. Um, so that I ain't gonna say that made it better, but it was all about style. Um,
True.
now, it's kind of, I guess, similar to the same concept. Guys wearing jeans and then wearing the pink shirt, but they ain't got no hoes. They wearing it for fashion. They wearing it for themselves to enhance their features or pink look good on me type deal. And I mean, and back then it was really only the pimps that was wearing the pink. They
Yeah.
were the ones that had a lot of the perms and wore like the shoes with the goldfish and stuff in it. But the regular guys, you couldn't get away like Prince. Like you couldn't dress like Prince and you be a regular dude. Prince ain't want no regular dude then.
Yeah. True.
So now you got regular guys that's growing up wearing pink, wearing tight jeans and sagging with it at that. It's just it's like guys and girls are shopping off the same rack, and there's no example for boys on what a real man is. And like I said, I'm not saying that is something that will make you one way or another. I'm just saying that it blurs the line on what being a man is, and being a man is acting a certain way, taking responsibility for certain things, providing for certain things, um, on down, just on down to everything. And there's such thing as boy toys and girls toys. That's why if you have a baby girl, you have the pink decorations, and you have a baby boy, you have the blue decorations. You don't have the pink decorations for the boy.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Do you think that I mean just growing up, like you said before, your dad was telling you that hey, this is what men do, and you can't stand a certain way. But the style now for those boys out there that in high school or middle school and high school, whatever, that's what they do. So do you think that your dad would allow you to come home with some skinny
Oh,
jeans?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you hit on a good point, man. The problem is really the parents.
Yeah.
It's really the parents. Like if you look at it with everything that's going on, parents is allowing the kids to do pretty much anything that they want to do, and there's really no guidance. And it's not just with clothes, but it's with it's with everything. And I mean, you look at it with no guidance. At least my dad would tell me not to do this and not to do that, and I understood that there may have been things that everybody else was doing. Just because everybody else did it did not mean that I was going to do it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why some people are more. It really is a reason why some people are more successful than others. You got to learn discipline. You got to learn that if everybody jump off the bridge, don't mean that you need to jump off and follow. And it don't mean that because everybody's pink, wearing certain things that you got to wear certain things.
I agree. So, do you think that if, just say, if these certain things like tight pants and pink shirts, that somehow was just say even right now, as you as a man that as a grown man now, if these things meant that you were more attractive to the opposite sex, would you wear it?
Man, well, everything that guys do is to be attracted to the opposite sex.
Yeah.
That's everything guys do. I think most guys would live in a shack if we thought we could get that poo nanny in a shack, but instead you got to try to get a little money. You got to try to look neat. You got to take a bath. Most guys probably wouldn't even take a bath if they could be dirty. and get girls. So but that's not the case. That's not what's going on. Guys aren't
Yeah,
wearing funny looking stuff, these days to get girls. They're wearing it for themselves.
that's true. Well, you said it started with the parents, so I mean, how you feel about just with parents like whipping their kids and do you think that's we got to get back to that butt whipping and just that hardcore phase that we used to be?
Um, yeah, well, I'm not gonna say that whooping is the answer. But whooping is a part of the solution. Man, you know the world would be a better place if more people would get punched in the face early.
I agree. I get just I mean I think we should bring back the bullies. They're trying to get the bullies out of the school. Bring back the bullies. Bullies were the one who's that kind of set the balance in the school. Like you can't get punched in the face by the bully. You can't get your lunch money taken. You need that stuff. That kind of make you hard and make you prepare for life.
So you think getting lunch money taken prepares you for life?
Yeah, yeah. Unless you know that there's some people out there that's you're not gonna get away with everything. You can't whine, you can't cry about it. You just gotta figure out how to either stop it or it got you thinking. You gotta figure out how to make this bully stop you. You gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta be, you're out on your own, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No,
So
I think out of any adversity, there's a lesson. There's a lesson to be learned out of any adversity. So whether it's bullying or whether it's whatever, there's something that could be learned. Looking at parenting though, it starts when a kid is young. If you don't slap that kid wrist and smack their butt when they're young and when they're doing little things, it's gonna be too late when they get older when they're trying to do big things.
yeah, true.
Yeah, it's kind of like that comment I said earlier. People always look for ways to push the line. And depending on where you draw the line is going to depend on how bad of things people do. So if you tell a kid your curfew is at 9, they're gonna push the line. They're gonna show up anywhere from 8:55 to 9:30. Same thing. If you set the line from at 12, they're gonna come home from 11:30 to 1 o'clock or 12:30. It's where you set the line. So when we set the parenting line of or should I say the man line, getting back to that first topic, if we set the man line of boys don't do this, boys only wear blue, boys don't wear tight pants that you can see your balls hanging out on each side of the crease, boys don't do that, then we're still gonna push the line, but instead we're gonna try to find other ways to push it. But if we make that okay, you got to find another line. And that's what happens is everything is too lenient these days. Everything. How do we parent? Like, but back in our day, if I got in trouble, if anybody saw me, any adult could whoop me, could correct me, and I knew that I had to behave no matter where I was because that I was afraid that somebody was gonna come in and see and not only whoop me themselves but tell my parents and they were gonna believe them and then I was gonna get another whooping. But nowadays you can have it on camera. You better not tell nobody's kid nothing. There's no such thing as a line or what they can and can't do because people don't want nobody else to tell their kids nothing. There's no line. No, not on clothes, not on grades, not on homework, not on nothing. We just don't parent anymore for whatever reason, and it's getting bad out there.
I think we're gonna get back to that. Like they say, history repeats itself. So I think eventually we're gonna get back to the point where, 'cause I mean, as you was talking about, just the line with clothing being blended between male and female. I was just thinking about all those cats that I've seen on TV and everything that they weren't necessarily pimps, but they were just probably hustlers or they were drug dealers or I mean they dress a little fancy and like the pants were tight. I mean I was even thinking about I watched this documentary on Bumpy Johnson and they called him Mr. Untouchable, but he was a drug dealer in New York, and I mean, he wore some tight. His whole crew, like they wore tight pants. They had the big collared shirts and pinks and all types of stuff. And I mean, they look cool with it.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that it's kind of what's going on today. Like these guys, I mean, but these guys, I don't think like I don't think they look that cool with it. If that makes sense. Like I mean, you see guys with the skinny jeans and they're wearing the pink shirts, and you don't really know if they're gay or not. And I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just I don't. I guess back then it was just not you didn't have to worry about nobody being gay. It was just a thing, I guess.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock anybody for wearing pink, yeah, or purple or whatever, because back when we was in school, nobody wore it. If you was gonna go really out there, you had to wear a little yellow. That was pushing the line. Um, I'm not gonna knock it. I think it's a pendulum. Right now, back in at one point in time, it was so taboo to do anything that was considered not the norm. And now everything is socially acceptable right now. So I think it's going to end up swinging back and swinging back one of these days and end up going from there.
So you know me, right? So if I came to your house one day and I was wearing some skinny jeans and a pink shirt,
Hmm.
would you think would I be acceptable? Like I mean, would you say something about it? Or would you just be like, oh man, that's just Earl, that's how you dressing today?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick at you. I'm gonna pick at you all day long. I mean I'm not gonna not accept you for whoever whatever you decide to do, but we ain't gonna go nowhere. I'm not gonna take you around, going somewhere and you got skinny jeans on. I'm gonna treat you like you got Ebola.
But I but I look cool, man. I mean, for the most part, everybody, nobody out. I mean, other than you, everybody that I go in the mall, they go, oh, he got some nice skinny jeans on, or some Chucks maybe, some pink shirt.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna tell you an interesting story, man. True story. I was with one of my friends, and we was gonna go to this high school football game. So after work, I had swung by, picked him up, and was about to go to the game. And he came out with a pink shirt on. I made him go in and change. I was like, "Look, man, you ain't getting in the car with the pink shirt on."
Couldn't even get in the car.
Nah, I couldn't even get in the car. I mean, I know I'm extra. I know I'm extra. Now, it's acceptable. It's acceptable now, but I just think it's weird. And because I think it's weird, I just decide that you could do it, but I just don't choose to have that in my life.
You're like, all right. I mean, I guess that's well, I mean, I remember myself like when I was in I mean, I was a little boy, and I mean, I had to be at least like 8 or something like that, and I w- I went to the Easter program, and I was wearing. My mom gave me a pink shirt or something to wear with like a gray suit,
Hmm.
and I thought I was getting it, but I mean, now looking back, it wasn't. I don't know. I guess back then, you're a little boy, the boy wearing a pink shirt, nobody really think nothing about it. But I guess as a grown man, I personally just I can't wear a pink shirt.
Well, but do you think that that's the problem? Is single moms trying to raise men?
Oh yeah,
Because
I mean that's. I don't think women can raise men personally. I think they gotta have you gotta have somebody you gotta have a man around somehow. Like just like I think that a man cannot necessarily raise a woman in a way. I just think there's some things that women know that men are not in touch with, and the same thing, vice versa. There's some things that men know that women are not in touch with.
but what about those women that would say, I done had all these boys and I raised them up to be men? Because it happens.
They kept them safe as far. Maybe they told them, hey, you got to get in the house before dark, or you have to feed them some food. But that boy, he either learned how to be a man from his peers or from some other guy, his uncle or granddad, somewhere somehow that's what happened.
Hmm.
Cause
So so women can't raise men.
no, I don't think they can.
I mean, I agree. I think that it has to happen just because a lot of men, for one reason, aren't around. Rather the girl decides to trick the guy into having a kid, so he know that he ain't gonna be around, or whether they mess with somebody that they know not gonna be around, that the guy's in jail or something like that, so they're forced to. But I don't think that it's meant to happen because it seemed like the a lot of the single women that end up raising the boys. Um, I ain't gonna say that they don't grow up right. They do. But there's things that they have to try to get more role models. And if they don't find a role model, then that's where there's trouble that come along.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can look at my story. I mean, I was raised by a single mother, but I had to find some role models to look after,
Yeah, I'm glad
so
I
I can
can be
look
your
up to.
role model, man.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, but that's I mean, it's just the way. I mean, I remember when I first met your dad, right? I mean, I don't know, I was 11 or 12 or something like that, and I went to shake I went to shake his hand, and he was like. I mean, he just looked at me funny. He's like, "Boy, that's not how you shake a hand." Like he's like, "Put some more power into that. Put some grip. You know how your dad talk."
Hmm.
And and that he was just telling me how a man shakes a hand. And before I even met him, man, before I just being raised by a single mother, I didn't really know that men shake hand differently than I was just shaking the hand. I didn't know I really had to put some emphasis with it.
Hmm.
Because you want a firm handshake. So that's just something that it just wasn't taught, and I don't think my mom knew to teach me that because she's a woman. So
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, there's some subtle things that men know about being men. Um, but the fact that there's been so many men, either raised by single women, or so many men that just been raised by people that just didn't care to teach them. Do you think that our kids are just really doomed?
no, I don't think we're doing at all. I just think that I, I just think that we just got to keep putting in time, keep putting time in, keep trying harder. There definitely need to be some more male role models. I think in the black community, especially, just more. There need to be more black men that are role models for little black boys. And I'll tell you the story, man. I was pumping gas one day, just minding my own business, and these two boys came up. I mean, I saw them walking. I didn't really pay any attention while I was pumping the gas, but then they came up to me, and they had to be at least like 14, 15. They had the dreads in their hair. They didn't really they looked like it was probably going down the wrong path, and they had these CDs in their hand. They was like, man, you want to buy a CD, man? And I looked at him. I was like, what kind of CD is it? And he's like, it's just us rapping. We trying to make something. And I said, well, man, I really don't buy rap CDs. I'm just not really a fan of it like that. But I tell you what, man, I'll just give you some money just so y'all can keep doing what you're doing, whatever. And I mean, just when they was talking to me, they was already nervous. And then like when they walked away, man, he was like, hey, man, just thanks for listening, man. Not too many people listen to us.
Hmm.
And that was big for me, man, because it's a lot of us. I mean, they were just happy that I just listened to them. And I think
Yeah,
that's a lot of us get in trouble, or they don't do that to black boys.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of people want to be heard, and a lot of people want to feel relevant, and we don't know how. So you end up trying to follow the cool crowd, and you do stupid things because you think that that's what's gonna make you relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's cool to be bad. That's the one funny thing these days. It's cool to be bad. It's cool to to fight. Like right now, it's in. If you want to get in a fight, you want to record it and put it on Rural Star to show that you could fight. And that's the fight is not getting you nowhere. When the last time any good adult got into a successful adult got into a fight?
right.
But it's cool, man. I think parenting is it's almost at a long time low, And and our parents maybe didn't provide us with a lot back then when it came to material things, but somehow they kept us guided. They kept us with the foundation and things like that. But so many of us these days we don't do it. Like I think about me. My mom kept me in church,
Yeah.
but during the course of a year, I don't really go to church all too often. But I ended up right, and I could say a lot of people that I know have ended up right. But instead of following the path that our parents have shown for us, instead we say, "Okay, mom, you whipped me, and you damn near abused me, so I ain't gonna whip my kids." And we say, "You kept me in church, and I ain't want to go to church, and it was miserable, so now I ain't gonna go to church, and I ain't gonna force my kids on church." But now look what's happening. You got kids shooting each other in school. There was a thing here where kids end up having a gang fight in the movie theater just recently. And you wonder why all of these kids are going to Ray, but is it because we're not as good of parents as our moms and dads were, because we didn't like what they did, but we don't recognize how it made us turn out.
Yeah, that's a good topic, man. Cause I'm actually struggling with that myself. Cause I'm the same way. I was raised in the church and had Sunday school, Bible study midweek, and then I mean it's just so much choir rehearsal, and I just like I mean, and I know that's how I got. I was raised up in the church, but now it's like I barely go to church, man. Like it's and it's not. I don't know. It's just that I'm so bored going to church. It's like there's nothing I can learn. For me, it's like it's nothing I can learn there anymore. But I know that with my daughter, she has to, I have to teach, I have to give her some type of direction spiritually. I think that she can discover what she wants to keep it for herself. But I don't. I'm struggling with that whole religion thing. Like, do I teach her to be more religious, or do I just teach her how to be more spiritual?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it comes down to where's the value. But I do know this: something is changing. Something is changing. There used to be prayer in school, and there used to be beatings in school. There used to be all of that, and school was a safer place. And nowadays, everything is out of school. There's everything is okay. There's no such thing as wrong. Whether it's sexuality, whether it's your body weight, no matter what it is, there's no such thing as wrong anymore. Everything is accepted, but there's no guidance. We don't make kids do anything. You can't threaten a kid. If you threaten your kid, they gonna come take your kid away, and you ain't gonna have a kid no more. And then put them in the system, but the system is a trap because they're gonna end up more than likely in the system.
Yeah, yeah, and that's. I hear some mothers saying that black mothers saying that they used to they whip their kids so that they don't have to get beat or get whipped by the system or the police system. I whip you now so you don't have to get beat by the cops. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's I mean, and I don't know if that's but because we're not doing that now, like you said, like it's more people that's that get in trouble with the cops. They're getting back in the system.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think that more people should whip their kids?
Yeah, I do. And yeah, I mean, I think so. Personally, I think so. But I am like just listening to other people, other parents, and it seems like it's mostly uh, people that are in the South whip their kids more than people that are in the North. And so that just drives questions in my own head, like why is that, or is there more trouble up north than it is in the South, or vice
Mm.
versa? But yeah, I think personally, just because I guess I'm in the South, and I think that if you spell the rod, you spoil the child. I think you gotta whip your kid.
Man, there was a story. You probably heard about it. It was I think it was at a dollar store, a Dollar General, something like that, where they had this kid that was in the line with his mother that was acting up, and I think the kid was throwing stuff off the shelves and things like that. The mom didn't do anything. The lady at the dollar store got upset and popped the kid, right? Didn't abuse the kid or nothing like that, but popped the kid. And the lady that popped the kid ended up getting fired, and it was this big story. Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that, but I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, she ended up getting fired and stuff like that. But I personally think that it's okay. In a rural where you remember the saying, it takes a village to raise a kid.
Yeah.
It's true. That mother sitting here and letting this child act up. I mean, just letting this child act up, not doing anything about it. That kid one day gonna grow up to end up beating the mess out of his mom.
Yeah.
But luckily this lady ended up standing up and really straightened the boy out. Could have saved that boy's life. You never know how these small gestures could save someone's life, but instead of appreciating the help, we get mad. We get mad at the others, and it's horrible.
See, and that's one thing I was thinking, man. I was like, do you? So the trend seems to be that people are not really beating their kids as much as they did in the past, right? So,
Mhm.
so then do you beat your kid the same way to the same way that you used to get beat to kind of keep them safe? But if they're growing up in a world where other kids aren't getting beat, then you know they does that make your child like, okay, your child may get bullied? Because I think like that may make my child kind of weak, or she can't really survive in a world where kids are just going crazy. Because they got to be you got to be tough and stand up on your own feet. You just can't let somebody just walk over you. And
No,
if you've been beat,
but you remember back in the day, if somebody was gonna fight you and you didn't fight back, or even if you lost the fight, then you got beat again. So so you couldn't go home and get bullied. At least not in my house. I'm just gonna
right?
talk about my house. I couldn't go home and say, mommy, daddy, such and such took my money. Nah, they like, nah, you better go out there and take your money back and don't come back to this house until you had that money. And so I think it just depends on how you raise. Just because you get beat, you're getting beat to toughen you up. You're getting beat to teach you right from wrong. Doing wrong hurts.
Yeah,
Doing wrong does hurt. And even as adults, if you do the wrong thing, you're gonna mess around and end up hurt for the reaction in one way or another, because wrong, what they say, crime pays, it pays. So you got to teach people that if you do the wrong thing, you're not going to be in a good situation. And but I think it's going to be something mental to know that, man, you ain't, you can stay up past 2. I got to go to bed at 8:30. I
yeah,
remember I remember hearing that as a kid. Like, I remember all of the other kids doing certain things and going certain places, and I couldn't go there. I couldn't go to the parties. I was an outsider. I'm still an outsider to this day. I'm not part of the cool crowd. Anybody that know me, they know I'm not the cool crowd, but I'm also not part of the nerd crowd. I'm not part of the black club, but I'm also not part of the white club. I'm not part of the how you also had the black club of black people that act white. I'm not part of that club. I'm just me. But at the same time, me being me and me being comfortable and learning to be comfortable with who I am, I don't have to try to pretend to be what I'm not, and I don't find myself in a whirl of nonsense, trying to please other people. And I think that's a problem with like people getting bullied now over the internet.
yeah.
That's
That's crazy.
retarded, man. Like, look, you could say what you want to say about me, but ain't nothing you could say about me or write about me gonna get me to the point where I'm about to kill myself. Ain't nothing.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe that means just these kids just got some low self-esteem out there. Then
I definitely think it's low self-esteem. I mean, we talked a lot about parenting, and and things like that. And I definitely think that it comes from. I'm not, it's not, it is a kid's fault because everybody got to take responsibility of what they do in their actions. But at the same time, it's the parenting fault of of whatever reason we're choosing to ignore the things that we were taught, and instead of using the things that we were taught to try to make us better and make our kids better, we're trying to make it up ourselves. And instead of relying on help from our family members and those we love, we put ourselves on an island to try to do it all ourselves. So we're raising kids for the first time, but we're choosing not to listen to anybody's help because we don't want nobody to tell us what to do.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely unfortunate. Because it's always something you can learn from somebody else. I think.
Yeah, yeah. So, but getting back to what you were saying though, you were saying that you were struggling with the church thing and all of that. Where's that struggle come in?
Well, it's just the because I feel that okay, so if I'm not really into the church like that whole church thing, and I feel that if I'm just going just to um expose my daughter to that, I feel eventually she's gonna pick up. I mean, she's gonna see that I'm not participating in the church. I'm not like I'm not on the deacon. I don't care to be on the deacon board or anything like that. I just go, I pay my money, and then that's it. Sometimes I pay my tithes, sometimes I don't. I don't really care. But I mean, that's just how I feel, right? So, and I feel that reflection, like, cause kids they're smart. They pick up everything, and I think that my daughter would pick up that type of that feeling that I have towards church, and she'll say, "But Daddy, why are we going to church?"
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
I hear you, man. I think I had both. My mom was in church, and when I say she was in church, I mean you know she was in church. She participated in any and everything that the church had to participate in.
yeah,
Um, Now my dad wasn't in church, and then at one point in time he started going because my mom really wanted him to go. Then he stopped going again, and he never go. Um, but I do feel like I gained a lot from church, mainly the relationships. And we kind of talked about it before, but we gained great relationships, friendships. You had other people that would kind of help parent you. So where my parents would fall short on, there was somebody else there that that could help out in other areas that they fell short on. We learned how to public speak. We learned how to memorize things. There was Bible verses you had to memorize, and it really tested it really tested the mind. Um, it really tested your mind.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree, and so that's the reason why I would want her to go to church is so that she's able to, so that I arm her spiritually with some Bible verses, some when
Mm.
she's feeling down or she just she's just not herself or whatever, she can just always go back to a verse or something in the scripture and she can say, oh yeah, that now I'm uplifted, I feel revitalized, and I can go back out into the world and do what I need to do.
Uh-huh.
uh,
But it's not only about just the memorization of the Bible verses, it's just using that mind. Like whenever you start exercising your mind in those ways, I think it make you stronger. And also a lot of the verses that's in the Bible, whether it be spiritual or not spiritual, is still kind of, I guess, wise, like wise sayings and wise things and ways to look at certain things.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know if she can I don't know if she'll be able to just maybe pick up some of the things I say, and she'll use that for her life's going. But I don't know, man. It's just I just don't want it to be fake because so if we do go to church. We rarely go, but when we do go, I mean, we walk in the door, sit down, listen to the singing, listen to the preaching, pay the money for the offering, and then it's like it's over. We out. Then we go back home and that's it. Like I don't talk to nobody after that. I don't sit around and shake hands and meet other families, and that may be on me, but or it may just be the church I'm going to. I don't really care about the people, I guess, but for the most part, it's just and I don't want that. I don't want like the way I'm feeling about church now. I don't want that to kind of be her reflection towards church because she hasn't really experienced. She don't really know it like I've been through it. And I don't. Sometimes I feel like I should give her that chance. Like she should go to Sunday school and all of that. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I just don't really care for it like that.
Mhm. Mhm. But yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about this on one of the later podcasts because I think that's an interesting topic. I want to know. It seemed to be common nowadays that so many of us in our generation went to church, but now as a kid, but now as an adult, we don't go.
Yeah.
That's like common. It's almost weird if you find somebody that go to church. If somebody do go to church on a normal basis, most times it's like they like a preacher.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I kind of, I mean, it kind of bothers me sometimes the way, I mean, because I'll be some like, so if it's a chick and I meet her and she's like just overly church go, or she's talking about church, you
Ah,
just say hello to her.
that's the
And,
verse. Praise the Lord. That's the
yeah,
verse.
I can't stand it.
Uh-huh. But
Can't st-
yeah, that is the verse. But I'm gonna tell you what else pissed me off. When I have a preacher or especially a pastor, like when a pastor comes in and I have to look at their credit and their credit is garbage. Like that pisses me off, man. It's like, church people want your money, but they sit here and make a promise to pay their bills and they don't pay. Like I can't even look at them as a good person when I see that happen.
yeah, that's actually funny. But I mean, especially like here in Atlanta, there's a bunch of I think they're fake I can't I don't know I don't want to call it that, but I just the way they only talk about money and they like there's for instance there's this church I think it's either Eddie Long or Bishop Dollar Creflo Dollar, so one of those guys. It's like when you if you come to their church and you join their church, they want like your W-9 or form, so they want to know how much money you're making so they know how much to tell you how much you need to tithe. um
Ah,
and that
wow.
I could ain't no way I could do that.
Nah, nah, not at all, not at all. But I mean, I'm not to change topics, but I kind of want to ask as far as being politically correct. We talked a little bit about skinny jeans and different things like that, and how I think the skinny jeans and the pink shirts and all that blur the line, and boys don't really know what it means to be a boy, and vice versa. But we, I don't think that you could really say what it is that you want to say because we're worried about offending people all the time. Like we got to be politically correct.
Yeah,
You
yeah, you
notice that?
can't offend the gays, can't offend the midgets, can't offend the fat people. Can't. Well, you know what? You can actually offend fat people still.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one category that's open.
Yeah. Fat jokes are still in. You're allowed to do that, but I mean that's coming. You better get all your fat jokes out now, because sooner or later that's gonna be probably be a protected class one day too.
Yeah, you can't call them fat no more. You got to call them just obese or pleasantly overweight.
Pleasantly plump. Yeah, pleasantly plump. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Because we sit here and we do this podcast every week, and I literally, have to you have to think about what you say when we do stuff like this, because if you have a regular 9 to 5, you could no longer have a 9 to 5 because you say it could be a true statement. You could make a true statement or something or an opinion, and what we say, everybody has a right to free speech, but your free speech will get you canned, you fired, or get you your house with what paper, with what is it, with toilet paper poured all
Uh,
around it.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It tripped me out when I saw the commercial because I didn't know gay was wrong, and that commercial said you shouldn't say gay.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I didn't even know that that was wrong. I mean, I'd look at it. You have some people that are gay, and you have some people that are straight, and and there's some things that you use to describe, like, man, that was gay. But man, you just by saying that, this whole podcast could be shut down. And it's not fair that you can't say what's on your mind. I don't think.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's and you hear a lot of these celebrities too. They'll say one thing like it'll be the truth, but then because they get so much flack about it and so many people are offended, they have to issue a public apology and all of this. It's I don't know why. It seems like just people either has just become so sensitive and so soft nowadays that pretty soon we ain't gonna be able to do nothing. We ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
No.
Can't call fat people fat. Can't call skinny people skinny, and it's I don't know. It's I don't know, man. I don't know where we're going. Like the next 10 years, how many eggshells we have to step on to not offend people.
Yeah, I mean, but so how do you kind of go about? Do you try to think about what you say so that you don't offend, or do you just say the first thing that come out of your mind?
Yeah, I say the first thing to come. Like it takes a lot for me to really change my vocabulary. Like it's like I mean I said fag for the longest, and like eventually it just became so many people were just like against fag. Then I eventually started saying gay. But I mean I still say midget. Like Misha was telling me I should say little people, but I like I mean there's still midgets at the end of the day. And but eventually I'll probably just say little people after that.
Yeah, see, I mean, you say you don't change, but I think we do. I think everybody do. I think it's depending on the extent on how we change, but let's talk about you were saying you use fag, right?
Right.
I know you, and you know me, that's in a sense a lifestyle that we don't agree with. But if a fag come around or a gay person come around, um, we're not gonna not we're not gonna treat them differently or treat them wrong. We're gonna almost act as if we don't see his gayness. It's like if you have somebody with something weird on their face, they got a weird booger hanging out their face, so you try not to look at that booger that's hanging out, their nose, or something like that. That's kind of what everybody do now. Like it's like, man, this thing come along and we try not to look at it. But the problem with that now is now we're forced to look at it, but we have to actually say that it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I can't like so it's the different levels for me. Like so if a gay person comes around, I can't really like I don't really respect any man, any woman for the most part. And I don't I mean I may be offending some people right now, but I'm just saying like if a gay guy comes around and he's a man, but he's like his voice he's changing his voice and he's carrying a purse or maybe wearing a woman's perfume and I just can't really respect you as a person um approach me like that. So I do treat people differently like that. So I mean for instance there was this guy at my job. This one job I had, he was just I mean he changed his voice, he wore a woman's perfume, he was just came he said hey to me and I mean I spoke back, hey how you doing man? But it was so short. It was like the conversation's over.
But you know what? You wouldn't have spoke back to him when we were younger.
I wouldn't. I guess I got a little better.
See? I mean, because we evolved to try to not offend. Like when we was younger, and he would have said, "You said don't say hey to me, motherfucker." That's how we would have been.
Yeah.
But now that we older, and he say hi, I'm like, "Hey, how's it going, Ralph?" You just say hello, and you keep it moving. But we almost have to tolerate it and say everything is okay. Because I mean, even the gay movement now, they trying to put it on the same level as they put the black movement.
Yeah.
And after they finally get their equal rights, or I guess if you want to call it equal rights, there's gonna be some other movement that's really not a movement.
Yeah. I mean I guess so. And I mean I like I said, I mean I can't really respect somebody who, I mean, I can tolerate it, right? So I mean, I don't want to. I can keep a conversation going on. I can, because I think at the end of the day, people, you have to allow people to be people. If they're not hurting you, then live and let live, right? But I mean, I guess now I think that's what I think that's the difference. I think now people need, or people are becoming more tolerable of each other, but not necessarily understanding each other.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
So explain.
Well, like I mean, even with black people, right? I think other races tolerate black people, but they don't necessarily understand black people, like especially black men.
Hmm.
And I don't think they're taking the time to even understand. And I may be guilty of it too, like with gay people. I tolerate gay people, but I don't understand it. And maybe because I don't sit down and talk to them and really listen to them, like I probably, I don't know if I should or not, but it couldn't hurt if I did. Just, I mean, because I think about that Marvin Gaye song about what's going on, and he was like, just that one person that he says, talk to me so we can see what's going on. I think more people just need to talk and just understand each other.
Yeah, no, that was deep right there, man. I agree with you. Is we don't understand, and typically what we don't understand, we um we try to destroy, and
True.
that's typically what happened, or we try to keep them down, or keep people down, and it's true. But I still I cringe like I'm watching Scandal, and then that new show Empire. And on those shows, they got the gay guys, and every time they kiss, it like it disgusts me. I don't get it. It disgusts me. So so I'm unaccepting of it. But I just try to turn away and enjoy the rest of the episode. But it almost made me want to turn the whole movie off.
It's because I guess you just play for a different team. But I wonder, do gay guys see like a guy kissing a girl, and does that make them cringe?
I
Like,
don't, I don't think so. I think it's normal.
okay, yeah.
Because it's guys kissing girls is that's the way it always was. When it comes to the gay thing, this is really only the last I say 10 years that is really been out there, and it's coming out more and more. Because you remember back in the day, if there was like a gay guy in the show, right before they may have kissed, they'll skip to a commercial break. So you never actually really saw it. But now it's like, man, it's softcore porn that's coming on, man. It's really new.
Yeah, it's a bit. I'm not really used to it yet.
Mhm.
Do you think that you are? So if you saw two women kissing, would you be? How does that make you feel?
I'm okay with two women kissing. I mean, I know it's a double standard, but there's double standards in everything.
True.
Um, the thing that I don't understand when I see the two women kiss though is, if you like a woman, I don't understand why you date a woman that's a man, or that look like a man and talk like a man and walk like a man and even wear a fake dick, like a man. Like, that really don't make sense to me. And same thing like with a guy. Like, I feel like if you're gonna be a gay guy, you should be with a guy that's a guy. Like, why be with a guy that look like a girl if you're gonna be with a guy?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I
that,
agree.
that's I guess that's the thing that confuses me, when I see it. So, like for me, I'm not um I'm not as disgusted when I see two women kissing, because I can imagine myself with both women pimping. Um, but if I see a woman kissing I don't, I think they call them the studs. If
Yeah.
I see that, then it kind of grosses me out just to see that. So I get, you know what? Maybe I'm an equal opportunist, because it's like, if I see a a guy kissing a real ugly woman, then I also kind of get a little grossed out.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can, yeah.
Hey, I just had that epiphany. Right now, I think it's a matter of, it could be a matter of looks and, and just, yeah, but nah, but I don't know.
I can see that too. Yeah, I think that's a good point you made. Because if it's a real ugly girl or some fat 600 pound tub of shit woman, I just yeah, that would I could almost vomit.
Mhm.
So I don't know. So maybe that's where we put men at. You know, we like men is just so disgusting. I don't see how another man would want to kiss another disgusting man.
Yeah,
So maybe we're okay with gay people, man. We just don't understand the that level of kissing or being attracted to something disgusting like a
yeah,
man.
that's what it is. That's what it is. I feel better about myself, man.
Yeah.
But but I don't know, man. That when it comes to the PC thing, I really wish that the world could stand up and grow some balls, man, and stop being so offended the way they are now. It's you can't call things like you see. You can't even tell the truth. You could tell the truth, but because the truth hurts, you're not allowed to say stuff.
Okay.
And I mean, they even take it to the point, like when they say how rap songs convinces the youth to to do bad. Man, that's garbage, man. Everybody just look for an excuse to try to point the finger on why they suck.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, cause I personally, man, I had like at least every Tupac album that came out, and and a bunch of other people, and I never did any of the stuff on the albums.
No, no. I just some people just suck, and everybody look for excuse. That's the thing I learned about sales. Being in sales is the people that don't sell well always have the excuses, point
True.
blank. And the people that sell well always find a way to find a solution. And me being a manager, and I'm trying to train up my managers to come. I tell them, don't come to me with the problem. Don't do it. Don't come to me with the problem. Come to me with the solution. And don't. And if we see a number that need to be changed, don't tell me why this number is what it is. Tell me what you're gonna do about changing it. You can't be a generation or a person of excuses on why you are where you are.
See, that's that home training coming out. Back when your parents told you to, you don't come to them saying that your lunch money got stolen. You better come back with that money.
Come back with that money. Come back with it.
Hey, well, we got to leave it there, man. I think this was a good podcast. We hit on a lot of great topics, I think.
Oh,
Um,
definitely, definitely. Well, keep joining in. What is it? Saturdays from 10 to 11. And you could definitely leave some comments on here, and we'll be happy to get back with you.
that's it. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.